The planet Vera was quiet, almost too quiet, as if the wind itself was afraid to speak. For many years, a young alien girl named Lyra stood alone in the middle of an open field. She did not sit, she did not walk away, and she did not sleep in the usual way. She simply stood in the same place every single day, staring at the sky with calm and patient eyes. Lyra was still young when the great evacuation happened. She remembered the panic, the loud alarms, the frightened voices, and the sudden rush of people running toward the escape ships. She remembered her mother holding her tightly, and her father saying he would come back for her. They had hidden her under a large metal panel near the old supply building, telling her to stay quiet. They said they would return for her once the danger passed. But they never came back. The villagers of Vera believed Lyra's parents were lost during the attack, taken or killed by the mysterious enemy known only as the Collectors. But Lyra refused to believe those stories. She held on to one final promise her parents had given her: "We will return for you." Those words lived inside her heart like a fire that never went out. And so she waited. Every morning when the sun rose, she stood at the same spot. Every evening when the sky turned dark, she stayed there. Even rain and storms could not make her move. The villagers called her the girl who waits for ghosts. Some felt sad for her, others thought she was strange, but no one understood the truth. Lyra believed her parents were alive. Some nights she saw strange lights behind the far mountains, blinking like lonely stars. Other nights she heard distant sounds from the sky, almost like engines. These small signs kept her hope alive. The field around her changed with the seasons, but Lyra remained the same. Her long silver hair moved gently in the wind. Her violet eyes stayed fixed on the sky, searching for something only she could feel. One evening, an old villager named Halen walked toward her. He had seen Lyra grow from a child into a teenager who never left her place. He carried a bowl of warm broth for her. "Child," he said softly, "you must rest. Your parents are gone. You cannot stand here forever." Lyra did not look at him. Her voice was quiet but firm. "They will come back." Halen sighed. He placed the bowl near her feet and walked away, shaking his head. The villagers did this often. They brought food and water, though Lyra never asked for it. She survived because she had learned to take only what she needed, just enough to stay alive until her parents returned. But deep inside, even Lyra sometimes felt a shadow of doubt. Sometimes she wondered if she had been foolish to wait so long. Sometimes she asked herself if hope could lie. Yet every time she thought about giving up, the memory of her mother's hand on her cheek and her father's promise would push away the fear. She could not stop waiting. Not now. Not ever. That night the wind was cold and sharp. Dark clouds covered the sky, and the air felt different, almost heavier, almost electric. Lyra felt a strange sensation move through her chest like a quiet whisper inside her mind. Something was coming. Suddenly, a bright white streak shot across the sky, moving faster than anything she had ever seen. It cut through the dark clouds like a blade of light. Lyra's heart jumped. This was not a natural light. This was a ship. But as the object came closer, she realized something strange. It was not her parents' ship. It was not a Vera ship at all. It was a human ship. The vessel descended slowly, its blue thrusters glowing against the night. It touched down in the field not far from where Lyra stood. Dust rose in the air. A sharp hiss sounded as the door of the ship opened. Lyra's breath froze. A tall human figure stepped out, wearing a dark suit with glowing lines across the chest. He looked around carefully, scanning the land as if searching for danger. This human did not expect to find anyone here. Then he saw her. He blinked, surprised. Lyra did not move. She watched him with wide, unblinking eyes. The human walked closer, raising his hands gently to show he meant no harm. "Hello?" he said. "Do you understand me?" Lyra tilted her head slightly. The universal translator on his wrist repeated the words in her language. She finally spoke for the first time that day. "Are you here to take me to my parents?" The human paused.
He looked at the empty field, the lonely sky, and the silent mountains. He realized this girl had been here for a very long time. "My name is Commander Raiden Cole," he said slowly. "I don't know about your parents, but maybe I can help you." Lyra's heart felt something break and something heal at the same time. She had waited for years for her parents to return, but destiny had sent her someone else instead, a human, and her life was about to change forever.
Commander Raiden Cole had traveled across dozens of worlds, but he had never seen anything like this. A young alien girl standing alone in an empty field, waiting as if time itself could not move her. Raiden took slow steps toward her, careful not to scare her. The ground was soft beneath his boots, and the night air carried a metallic taste. His hand stayed near his sidearm, not to attack, but because the planet gave him a strange feeling, a warning he could not explain. The girl watched him with calm, shining violet eyes. She didn't step back, didn't run, didn't even blink too much. She simply waited. The translator activated again, repeating her earlier question. "Are you here to take me to my parents?" Raiden felt something twist inside him. He looked around. There were no houses, no lights, no other signs of life nearby. Why was a child alone here? "What's your name?" he asked gently. "Lyra," she answered. "How long have you been waiting here, Lyra?" She looked up at the sky for a moment, as if remembering the stars. "Many years," she said quietly. Raiden felt a chill. A child waiting alone for years? That made no sense. Something terrible must have happened here. He knelt down to be at her eye level. "I don't know where your parents are, but I want to understand what happened. Maybe I can help." Lyra slowly reached into a small bag tied to her waist. She pulled out a tiny metallic cube covered in faint blue lines. She held it carefully, like it was the most precious thing she owned. "My mother gave me this. She said it would help me if danger came." Raiden gently took the cube in his hand. The moment his human skin touched it, the cube glowed brightly. A soft hum filled the air. Then, a hologram appeared, static and broken, but still understandable. A woman's voice whispered, "If anyone finds our daughter, protect her. They are coming." The image flickered, showing a tall female alien who looked like Lyra, only older and stronger. "Stay hidden, Lyra," the voice said, shaking with fear. "We will come back, we promise." Then the hologram ended. Lyra lowered her eyes. They did not come back. Raiden stood slowly. His heart felt heavy. This girl had survived alone because her parents hid her, but they must have been taken by something powerful, something dangerous. Who were they talking about? Who is coming? Lyra hesitated. She wrapped her arms around herself as the cold wind blew across the empty land. She whispered, "The collectors, the ones who took my parents. They take people from many worlds. They take anyone rare, anyone special." Raiden had only heard of them in rumors, shadowy raiders who moved between star systems, leaving no trace except broken families. He exhaled slowly. "Lyra, they might still be alive, your parents." She widened her eyes. "You think so?" "I don't make promises, but I've seen impossible things before. If they sent this message, it means they tried to protect you, and they believed someone would find you." Lyra looked at him closely, as if searching for the truth inside his words. "Why did you come here?" He pointed toward the sky. "I picked up strange energy signals from this region. My mission was to scan the area. I didn't expect to find someone like you."
Lyra took a small step toward him. "Will you take me with you?" Raiden hesitated. Protocol said no. He wasn't supposed to take civilians on his ship, and this planet wasn't his territory. But then, he looked at her again. A girl who refused to move for years. A girl who held on to hope stronger than fear. A girl alone in a dangerous world. He made his choice. "Yes," he said firmly. "I'll take you somewhere safe." Before Lyra could respond, Raiden's scanner beeped loudly. A red warning flashed across the screen. Incoming energy signature detected. Unknown source. Raiden turned toward the sky. A dark shape moved between the clouds, smooth, silent, and fast. Lyra's breath caught. "They are back," she whispered. "The collectors." Raiden grabbed her hand. "We need to move now." They ran toward the direction of his ship, the grass bending beneath their feet. A deep humming sound grew louder behind them. As the shadow in the sky descended, Raiden looked back, and his stomach tightened. Small metal drones were dropping from the underside of the large ship. They spread across the field like hunters searching for prey. Lyra trembled. "They know I'm here." Raiden tightened his grip on her hand. "Not anymore. You're coming with me." The first drone shot a beam toward them. Raiden pushed Lyra down just in time. The beam burned the ground, leaving a smoking hole. Raiden fired back, hitting the drone and knocking it out of the air. "Run!" he shouted. Lyra ran beside him, her breath sharp, her heart pounding. The night filled with beams of light and the metallic cries of the drones. Raiden activated his emergency beacon. "Human fleet, this is Commander Raiden Cole. I have a civilian child under threat, requesting immediate support." Static answered him. Another beam shot past them. Lyra stumbled, but Raiden lifted her onto her feet. "We're not going to die here," he said. As the drones closed in, Lyra realized something she had never felt before. For years, she had waited for her parents. For years, she had stayed in one place. For years, she had faced fear alone. But now, she was not alone anymore.
The night sky above Vara turned darker as the collector ship descended. Its metal surface looked like black glass, smooth and silent, swallowing all moonlight. Commander Raiden Cole kept Lyra close as they ran between tall rocks and thick bushes, trying to avoid the drones searching for them. Lyra breathed quickly, fear tightening her chest. She had seen the collectors before, but only from a distance. She had heard their machines. She had felt their presence like a cold hand on her back. But tonight, they were hunting her directly. Raiden held his blaster tightly. "Stay low," he whispered. "Don't stop moving." Lyra nodded, though her legs felt weak. Every shadow looked like danger. Every sound felt like a threat. They reached the edge of a rocky hill. From here, Lyra could see the entire field behind them. The drones moved like metal insects, scanning the ground with red lights. The collector ship hovered above, blocking the stars. Raiden checked his scanner again. "We need higher ground," he said. "There's an old communication tower near the cliffs. If I can activate it, I can send a signal to the fleet." Lyra remembered the place. "It is far," she said softly, "and the path is dangerous at night." Raiden looked at her. "Is there another way?" She shook her head. "Then we'll take the dangerous path," he said, helping her climb the rocks. They moved upward, following a narrow trail that twisted along the mountainside. The wind was sharper here. Lyra's hair blew wildly, and Raiden's visor flickered from the dust. As they climbed higher, the drones spread out, scanning every corner of the land. "They are searching for me," Lyra whispered. Raiden glanced at her. "Why are the collectors after you? You said they'd take rare beings. What makes you special?" Lyra hesitated. She looked down at her hands.
I don't know everything." She spoke slowly, as if choosing each word carefully. "My mother said I have something inside me, something important, something the collectors want." "What is it?" Raiden asked. Lyra lowered her head. "I don't understand it myself. I only know they wanted my parents to hand me over. And when my parents refused, the collectors took them." Raiden felt anger rise in his chest. He didn't show it, but inside, he promised himself he would not let the collectors take her too. They reached a small cave halfway up the mountain. Raiden guided Lyra inside. The air was cool and damp. Water dripped from the roof in slow, steady drops. "Rest for a moment," Raiden said. "I'll check outside." But before he stepped out, Lyra whispered, "Wait." She pointed to the cave wall. Symbols glowed faintly on the surface, soft blue marks that looked ancient. Raiden touched them with his glove. The symbols pulsed brighter. "What is this?" he asked. Lyra approached the wall. "My people call these marks echo signs. They react to energy. They react to me." Raiden watched in surprise as the symbols glowed brighter when she stood closer, as if recognizing her presence. "Lyra," he said carefully, "I think you are far more important than you know." Before she could answer, a loud metallic scream echoed from outside. Raiden grabbed her arm. "They found us! Move!" They rushed out of the cave and continued climbing the mountain path. The sound of drones grew louder behind them. Red lights flickered through the darkness. "We're almost there," Raiden gasped. "The tower is just ahead." They reached a high ledge overlooking a deep valley. In the distance, the communication tower stood like a lonely metal spine pointing at the sky. But before they could take another step, a drone shot out from behind a boulder. Raiden fired quickly, striking it, but more drones appeared behind it. Lyra froze in fear. Raiden pulled her behind a rock. "Stay down!" The drones fired beams that hit the ground, sending sparks and dust everywhere. Raiden fired back, hitting one drone, then another, but more kept coming. "We can't stay here," he shouted over the noise. Lyra covered her ears as the beams blasted the rock above them. The cliff shook. A large piece of stone broke loose and crashed down the side of the mountain. Raiden knew they had only one chance. "Lyra," he said, grabbing her shoulders, "there's a narrow path to the right. Take it and run to the tower. Do not look back." "I won't leave you," she cried. "You have to. I'll follow right behind you. Go." Tears filled her eyes, but she obeyed. She sprinted down the narrow path, stones falling beneath her feet. Raiden stood up, firing rapidly to distract the drones. One beam grazed his arm, burning through part of his suit, but he didn't stop. He kept firing, kept moving, pushing the drones away from Lyra. Lyra reached the bottom of the path and ran toward the tower. The metal structure rose tall above her. Its broken antennas stretched into the sky. She reached the entrance and turned back. Raiden was still fighting, but the drones were surrounding him. Her heart screamed inside her chest. "Raiden!" she cried out. He heard her voice and shouted back, "Get inside, activate the console." She ran into the tower and climbed the stairs to the old control room. Dust covered everything. Broken screens hung from wires, but in the center was a large console with a glowing core. She placed her hand on it. The core lit up. Outside, Raiden stared in shock as a brilliant blue light shot from the tower into the sky like a beacon. And at that moment, the drones stopped. Then the collector ship above roared loudly, as if reacting to the signal. Raiden realized something terrifying and important. The collectors weren't just hunting her. They were afraid of something inside her, something powerful. And now everyone in the galaxy would know where she was. The night sky over Vara burned with light as the collector drones circled the tower. Commander Raiden Cole stood firm, his blaster aimed at the enemy, sweat running down his face. Lyra stood beside him, her small hands glowing faintly with energy. The tower pulsed, as if alive, responding to her presence.
Raiden could see the massive collector transport hovering above, dark and threatening. Hundreds of drones moved like shadows on the ground, closing in fast. He took a deep breath and shouted to Lyra, "Stay close, use the tower's energy, but don't overextend yourself." Lyra nodded. Fear and determination battled inside her. For years, she had waited for her parents. For years, she had stood alone. Now humans were here, and she was not alone anymore. She focused on the glowing symbols inside the tower. Energy ran from the walls, through her, and into the sky. The drones hit the tower with lasers, but every strike seemed to be absorbed by Lyra's power. Sparks flew, beams shattered, but she remained steady, channeling the energy like she had been born to do this. Raiden thought beside her, shooting at drones that got too close. His arms burned, but he refused to falter. He had promised he would protect Lyra, and he would keep that promise. Then a signal from his wrist communicator blinked rapidly. The human fleet had arrived. Ships, sleek and powerful, appeared above the clouds, their engines glowing blue. They fired precise energy blasts at the collector transport. The enemy drones were destroyed in seconds. The collector ship roared, trying to escape, but the humans' superior firepower pushed it back. Raiden allowed himself a brief nod of relief. "Lyra, they're here to help." She watched in awe as the fleet opened fire, driving the collectors away. Her heart pounded in her chest. Humans were stronger, faster, and braver than she had ever imagined. The tower pulsed even brighter. Lyra felt the energy inside her rise. She reached out, and a beam of blue light shot into the sky, connecting with the fleet above. The human ships responded instantly, targeting the prison ship where her parents were kept. Raiden watched the battle unfold. "Hold on, Lyra, your parents are coming back." Minutes passed like hours. Then the human boarding teams landed on the collector ship. Explosions rang out, the air shook, and the prison ship's defenses fell one by one. Finally, the doors of the collector ship opened. Lyra's parents stepped out, exhausted but alive. Her mother's eyes widened when she saw her daughter. "Lyra!" she cried, running toward her. Her father followed closely, his hand outstretched. Lyra ran into her arms, tears streaming down her face. She hugged them tightly, unable to speak. Years of waiting, of hope, of fear, all came crashing into this moment. Raiden stepped back, watching quietly. Lyra's parents looked at him with gratitude. "You saved her," her father said. "We owe you everything." Raiden shook his head. "No, humanity's here to protect what others cannot. That is what we do." Lyra's mother nodded. "Indeed, humans are different. You fight for those left behind." Lyra looked at Raiden, smiling through tears. "I waited for my family, and the universe sent me another one too." The sky cleared, the stars returned. The field where she had waited for so many years felt peaceful for the first time. Lyra no longer had to stand alone. She had her parents back, and she had humanity beside her. The human fleet began their patrol, keeping the skies safe. The collectors were retreating, but the galaxy had seen something remarkable: the courage of one young girl and the power of humans to protect the helpless. Lyra finally left her waiting spot. She walked forward with her family and Raiden, her head held high. Her journey was far from over, but for the first time, she felt hope that was stronger than fear. And somewhere above, the stars watched quietly as humanity showed the galaxy the meaning of courage, protection, and heart. The morning sun rose over the planet Vara, casting soft golden light on the field where Lyra had waited for years. The wind blew gently, carrying the scent of fresh grass and the faint metallic tang of human ships. The quiet that had once felt heavy now seemed peaceful, almost alive. Lyra stood in the middle of the field, looking around. She had returned here once more, not to wait, but to remember. This was the place where hope had kept her alive for so many years. And now, everything had changed. Her parents were safe, thanks to the bravery of humans. Commander Raiden Cole had stayed with them throughout the night, helping them understand how to return to their own lives. Lyra felt a warmth inside her she had never felt before. "I can't believe it," she whispered, her voice trembling. "I waited for so long, and now everything is real." Her mother, Solara, held her hands. "Lyra, you were never alone. You had hope, and now you have us. And these humans, they are remarkable." Raiden smiled gently. "Humans believe in protecting others. That's what we do. It is not just about fighting or winning. It is about standing for those who cannot defend themselves." Lyra nodded slowly. She remembered the dark nights, the empty fields, the quiet stars above, and the countless times she had almost given up. She had waited for her family, and now she had discovered something more. Humans could be allies, friends, and protectors in a universe that could be cruel and lonely. The collector threat had been driven away for now, but Lyra knew it would not be the last. Somewhere in the galaxy, the collectors would regroup, but she no longer feared them alone. Humans had shown her that courage could come in many forms, through firepower, strategy, and, most importantly, heart. Raiden placed a hand on her shoulder. "Your parents are safe now, but the galaxy is big. There are still dangers. If you want, we can take you to a safe place where you can learn more about your abilities and prepare for what is coming." Lyra looked at her parents, who nodded in agreement. They had spent years hiding, running, and hoping. Now, it was time for Lyra to step forward. "I want to go," she said firmly. "I want to learn. I want to be ready. And I want to help." Raiden's eyes lit up. "Good. That's the spirit of humanity. Always ready to protect. Always ready to fight for what is right." As they walked toward the waiting human ships, Lyra glanced back at the field. It was the place where she had stood still for years, believing that her parents would return. She smiled, realizing that waiting had not been useless. Hope had guided her, and now action would define her future. The ships lifted into the sky, their engines glowing as they took off. The wind carried the sound of their engines far into the mountains. Below, the empty field slowly returned to peace. The stars blinked faintly above, witnessing a story that would be remembered for ages. A story of hope, courage, and the bond between humans and those they protect. Inside the lead ship, Lyra's parents held her hands while Raiden briefed them on what lay ahead. Lyra listened carefully, her mind racing with possibilities. The universe was vast, dangerous, and unknown, but for the first time, she felt ready. Raiden glanced at her. "The galaxy has many secrets. Some are dark, some are wonderful. You will see them all, Lyra. And remember, you have the courage of your family, and now the strength of humans beside you." Lyra nodded. She took a deep breath, looking out the window at the rapidly shrinking planet below. Years of waiting had led to this moment, and now a new journey began. She felt excitement and fear, but the hope she had carried for so long burned brighter than ever. As the ship left the atmosphere, a sense of calm settled over Lyra. She knew that the universe was wide and full of danger, but she was not alone. Humanity had stepped forward, showing what courage could achieve. And somewhere deep in her heart, Lyra understood the truth of it all. Hope, courage, and trust in others were the forces that could change the course of destiny. For years, she had waited. Now, she would act. And the stars above watched silently as the girl who never moved began a journey that could reshape worlds. This was the beginning of a new story, a story of humans, courage, and hope in the vastness of the galaxy.
The human ship glided silently through the endless black of space, its engines leaving soft blue trails behind. Lyra sat by the window, staring at the galaxy stretching before her. Her parents were beside her, still holding hands tightly, and Commander Raiden Cole walked down the aisle, checking the ship's systems. Lyra had left the field where she had waited for years, but the memories stayed with her. She had thought that the stars were cold and empty, but now she knew the universe held courage, friendship, and even hope. She had seen humans fight for what was right, and she had felt their strength beside her. But something deep inside whispered that her journey was not over. Suddenly, the ship's sensors beeped urgently. Raiden's eyes scanned the readings. "Unidentified energy signature approaching fast," he said. "It's not a collector ship. This is something different." Lyra's heart skipped a beat. She had waited for years for one thing, her parents. But now, the universe seemed to be calling her toward another challenge. Her mother, Solera, looked worried. "What is it, Raiden? Could it be another enemy?" Raiden shook his head slowly. "I don't know. The energy reading is strong. Intelligent. It's something we've never seen before." Lyra stood, her violet eyes reflecting the starlight outside. "Maybe it's not something to fight. Maybe it's a message." Raiden raised an eyebrow. "A message? From who?" Lyra shrugged. "I don't know, but when I activated the tower on Vara, I felt a presence, something ancient. I think it is reaching out to me." Raiden nodded. "Then we'll find out. Prepare for a landing on the nearest planet where the signal is strongest. Stay alert." The ship altered its course, diving toward a distant blue and green planet. Lyra's stomach twisted with a mixture of excitement and fear. She had learned that the universe could be dangerous, but she had also learned that she was not powerless. With humans beside her, she could face the unknown. As they approached the planet, strange lights appeared in the atmosphere, glowing softly, moving like living threads. Lyra felt a strange energy humming in her chest, the same energy that had lit the tower on Vara. Raiden's voice broke through her thoughts. "Lyra, whatever is waiting there, it knows about you, and it is not hiding." Her parents exchanged worried glances. "Be careful, Lyra," her father said. "You have already been through so much." Lyra nodded. "I know, but I feel ready." The ship landed gently on a plateau near the glowing lights. Outside, the planet was alive with soft, floating energy orbs. They swirled around the landing site, almost like they were welcoming her. Lyra stepped onto the surface, feeling the energy pulse beneath her feet. Her hands glowed faintly again. She closed her eyes and reached out, sensing the presence she had felt for so long. A voice echoed in her mind, soft, melodic, and ancient. "Lyra, you have awakened. The galaxy has watched your courage. Humans have shown their strength. Now it is time for you to step forward. Your journey has only begun." Lyra opened her eyes, filled with wonder. I understand. I will not be afraid." Raiden and her parents watched her silently. They could not hear the voice, but they could see the change in her. Lyra stood taller, more confident, more certain of her purpose. Above, the stars seemed to shimmer, as if acknowledging her promise. The girl who had waited for years had finally learned that hope alone was not enough. Action, courage, and trust in others were what shaped destiny. Raiden spoke softly, almost to himself. "Humans may protect the weak, but it seems the galaxy has chosen her for something even greater." Lyra smiled. "Then, we move forward. Together." The glowing energy swirled faster, lifting slightly from the planet's surface, like it was waiting for her to take the first step. The adventure was no longer about waiting. It was about reaching for the unknown, about stepping into the stars, and about discovering what lay beyond the edges of the galaxy. And so, Lyra, her parents, and Commander Raiden took their first steps into a new chapter, a journey that would test courage, friendship, and the strength of humanity itself. The universe had called, and she had answered.